Back at it again with our man, Bobby Nezami, a.k.a. Body by Bobby, IFBB Fitness Physique Pro, entrepreneur, investor, prep and fitness coach. I mean, the guy wears many hats, legend. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thanks. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good.
Welcome.
This is an exciting one for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, we had to reschedule this one, twice?
Yeah. We rescheduled.
Damn.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I don't think it was all me, though, okay?
No, it was
No, it's not the talent. He was too busy.
It was me for sure.
Where do you come from to get here? Like, where's home?
San Ramon.
San Ramon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I actually thought on the way here, I was like, oh, Walnut Creek, I got 30 minutes. I'll be fine.
Right.
Like, oh, man, it's not Walnut Creek. It's all the way in
Yeah,
Pittsburgh, deep in
it's a
Pittsburgh.
little deeper, you know. It's like Walnut Creek, Concord-ish.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone, I was at a
Pittsburgh.
conference and everyone's like, "Where are you from?" You know, I'm like, "Well, I live in Walnut Creek." Like, "Oh, I know where Walnut Creek's at." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, what's your market?" And it was like, "Well, you know, where's your office at?" So they started asking questions, especially they're from like California. And you're like, no one hears about Pittsburgh, but we're here.
Yeah.
It's
It's
funny
all
because
good.
I'm on, Waze, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to make up this 5 minutes. That I'm
Every
like,
time you're on
there's
Waze.
no way you can make up that 5 minutes. It don't matter how fast you're driving.
Wade's like, I'm giving you the shortest route going 10 miles an hour over the speed limit,
Yeah.
just so you know.
Just so you know.
Like, you'll get 1 minute and you're like,
Well, fun fact, I was born here, so
There you go. There you go. So appreciate you coming on. I guess we could start by going over a little bit of your story. So where are you from originally? I know San Ramon is home now. Originally Castro Valley.
Yeah, Castro Valley.
Okay.
And I basically, lived there. I grew up there.
Got it.
Castro Valley was, home. And then I started going to the gym in San Ramon, and I was like, wow, it's kind of nice out here. You know what? This gym's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And then I started making that drive to San Ramon. And then I started realizing, I'm like, man, people out here are like getting money. They're doing well. Like everybody's got nice jobs. So I just kept making that drive because I wanted to build those connections with people out there.
So is that what got you into the fitness industry in general? Like what was that journey?
To be honest, it was kind of like a breakup. So, I guess that's always like,
I feel like it's a main
it's always
driver.
main-
That's a main driver for working out.
oh, you don't want me? I'll show you.
yeah. Basically, right?
Were you a big guy before?
No, I was always like played basketball, never really a small guys for sure. And then
Okay.
I got into like working out and I started realizing, walking up to the big guys at the gym, like, hey man, what are you guys doing? They're like, eat. And I'm like, okay, whatever, right? And it took me a couple years to realize like, okay, the food is the really important.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
the
nutrition all day.
80% of it, I would say.
Yeah.
So I started eating, and then that's when I started growing.
So breakup, started working out, started eating, and so what did you fall? Like when did you fall in love with the whole fitness industry?
I think it was really early on, honestly. Like I just got into it, and it was just getting in the gym, and all your friends are in there, and you're
Right.
like working out, and you're starting to see like, everything's starting to look better. You're more confident. I just feel like the gym it just was my calling. I don't know. I'm glad I'm in it now, just because it's one of those things that like everything in my life has gotten better because of it.
Sure.
So.
How long? When was that? Like, what age were you when you were like, okay, cool, I'm taking this really seriously?
Honestly, it was about 28 years old. It was a breakup. So the breakup happened, and I was like, okay, I was serving tables at the time.
Okay.
And she was basically like, hey, you need to get a real job. And I'm like, I will, like down the line. Like, it's okay right
Yeah.
now. Like, I'm fine where I'm at because I loved the job that I had.
Right.
You didn't work till like 2 o'clock.
Sure.
You could go to school. I was getting a lot of stuff done.
Got it.
But more than anything, I had all my friends were working there with me. So I was having a good time.
That's a hard thing to leave, right?
Right.
Very hard. It kept me there for a while, and so I was kind of trapped in a way. And then the breakup happened, and I realized, I'm like, all right, I got to really do something with my life. Then I ended up knowing the vice president from 24, and he's like, hey man, just come here and work here, and I'll move you up pretty quick. Like I know your character, I know
Nice.
who you are. Like I'll help you out. And then I got there, and I started doing really well with 24. I was working with them for a while, and just. Started training, and I was doing really well with that. And then I started realizing, man, this is something I really love to do.
That's dope.
Kind of went from there.
So from there, training was like your first thing. Like you weren't necessarily. Were you thinking about the bodybuilding route, or was it just training? Or?
It kind of was like people were always telling me like, oh man, you should compete, you should do shows. And I was thinking, I don't really like it. So I decided, you know what, let me try one show. And I did it, and I hated it. I mean, there was nothing that I liked about it.
Really?
Well, you couldn't, go out to the movies. Your boys want to hang out. They want to go out. They want to go to Vegas or party or do whatever. And you can't do any of that stuff.
Right.
And so I was like, man. But I got so much work from it because, you know, you are in good shape. People see you and they're like, oh, that's my trainer. He looks good.
Right.
So it helps, you know, looking a certain way does help, but I did not like the process at all. You know, I lived up with my sister at the time and she's ordering freaking Jack in the Box,
You're just
pizza.
sweating looking at it. You're like, let me.
Exactly.
Dude.
So I just got it was tough. It was really tough, but I did really well in the show. I actually won the show.
Oh, nice.
And then
Your first?
my very first show. And they were like, hey, you know what? You should do another show. And I was like, I don't think so. But then my business started going up.
Right.
So I'm like, man, maybe
So
I
you
should
kinda
do
like
a second.
correlated
It
the-
correlated
yeah.
for sure.
Were you still with 24 when you did your first show?
I was.
You were, okay.
And then at that point, and 24's always backed me, and they took care of me. They
Yep.
sponsored me. They did a lot of good things for me.
Oh, nice.
And it was great to get my foot in the door. And then I started realizing, I'm like, man, can I really make a lot of? Can I have a life? Can I build a life here
Right.
at 24? And you can't. They take too much money from you,
Right,
right? They're,
right.
hey, give us 30. We're gonna take 70%. You're gonna make 30%, and you can't make money like that.
Right.
So that's when I started doing the bodybuilding thing, and that started building my business outside of 24. And then I started realizing, oh man, I could take this and really run with it.
Yeah.
So did you go from like inside the 24 structure where you like, you came in, he's like, hey, I can give you a job. You work the front desk, or hey, you come in to be a trainer?
I was a trainer right off the bat, but I wanted to move into management and start moving up in managing, right? I didn't really want to be a trainer.
Right.
Because, and then I did it, and then I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. I actually like
right.
it. And then to be honest with you, I started training people, and I was like, man, 6-7 hours of training is tough.
Yeah.
And it's a grind, and you're doing it every single day. I was like, man, how can I do something where I can get to more people? You know, having 7 clients is cool, but how do I get 100? How do I get 500? How can I?
Yeah, there's not enough hours in the day to even do that.
Yeah,
So-
and then let's say you work 8 hours. I was working 8 hours, you know, and I'd get up early in the morning. I was training the president of the company at 5 o'clock in the morning, and so then you have gaps, right? You don't get a 6 o'clock, a 7 o'clock. When you first start out, you get a 5 o'clock, and then you have a gap, and then you have like 7 o'clock, and then you might have a 1 o'clock, and then
Yep.
you train about 7 people, but you're there for 10, 15
whole time.
hours.
So you're training the owner of 24-hour fitness.
Yeah, I was the president of the company.
How did that happen for you? Like who recognized who?
They picked me actually. It was like a
Okay.
big thing. So
Got it.
they were like, hey, you know, you're doing well with the clients that you have. The manager I had at the time, you know, we were close. He was a good friend of mine, and we got along really well. And he kind of like trusted me. He was like, okay, this is a big thing. Like, you need to make sure your name tag's on. You need
Yeah.
to make sure you show up early.
Okay.
Like, you represent every single trainer. So if you mess up, it's gonna look bad on all of us.
Got it.
So I would show up early, make sure you had water, towels. Like, I was on it, you know, because I knew it was a big opportunity.
Sure. Right.
And then from there, you know, the guy was really cool, and we ended up building a great relationship. So it was awesome.
You still know him?
Yes, to this day, I still, because he doesn't work for the company anymore. He actually, like, you know, during COVID and all that stuff that happened, he kind of, you know, they let off
Exited.
some people and they
Exited, yeah.
exited. And but I try to always, once I build a relationship, I try to keep those relationships.
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing in the fitness world, in any industry, right?
Right.
Network is your net worth, right? Like,
Absolutely.
So building that is the most important. But, you know, just when you meet someone, you don't know when they can help you out again, right?
True.
And I tell people that all the time,
Right,
like,
right.
that guy you might not like, or that guy that you might not be the best friends with, down the road, that guy might be the bouncer at the club, or he might be the bartender, right?
Right, yeah.
So be cool with
He
him.
might be the
Just-
president of 24-hour
Yeah,
fitness.
he might be, exactly, right? And that's how it happens. I'm telling you, there's
exactly
so many
how it
times in
happens.
life where I was like, I'm glad I was cool with that guy, because you know, there goes some free drinks or whatever, right? So it's been great, you know. But building those bonds with people and just being loyal to them, and, you know, calling them, checking up, that's all it takes. Like, I just had a birthday that just passed, and, you know, the people that called me, it's like, all right, I'm gonna remember that, right?
Absolutely.
Like, okay, you guys literally called me. Some people called me a couple
Yeah.
days
Most people
early.
just text,
It's
right?
Yeah, most people
or,
text.
Or it's even funnier, like where they just post you on Instagram. You're like,
They don't even say.
I would way rather, like, if it's somebody's birthday that I like, I'm like, I'm gonna call you, just like you're saying, because to me that means more. It's like, you personally like me outside of anything, like the Fugazi,
It's not just the
whatever's
clout
on
that
the
you get
clout.
from
Yeah,
posting
like,
me on your
you know,
Instagram, yeah.
you literally call me because you're like, that's my boy, or like, I really respect or appreciate this person, what they've done in my life. So I feel the same.
And I think it's, you know, we'll probably get into it even more, but like building a relationship, keeping in contact. I mean, obviously you want birthdays, Christmas, holidays, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? You're always constantly trying to like pepper it through your network or your sphere of influence, because that's what real estate, a lot of it is all about, right?
Right.
Same thing for him though. You know, I mean, people are probably like, oh, I know Bobby. Oh, Bobby's cool. Oh, he just did a show. Oh yeah, happy birthday, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Post you, and that's cool. Like it's love, right? But like you're saying, that's the relationship, and you probably do that to other people because you're big on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that call goes a long ways.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. Like even when you came to my show.
Yeah.
Like I'll remember that. I'll
Yeah.
always remember. I'm like, man, he drove all the way from where he's at,
Yeah.
all the way to San Jose.
Come check you out.
Like to come check me out. That's love. So I'll always remember when birthdays, podcast, whatever happens, like
Yeah.
I want to bring that loyalty back, right? It's important. I think that when you build relationships like that, people remember
Big
things
deal.
like that. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So you went from 24 Hour Fitness. What was the next move after that?
Then I started kind of doing the nutrition thing, right? So I was like, you know what? All these guys are training. What can I do that's a little different?
Okay.
So I was training people, but I was also giving them nutrition plans. Then I started realizing, I'm like, man, the ones that got plans are doing way better than the ones that are training. So I have like a group of people that just train, and then I have a group of people that are doing the nutrition plans. And I'm starting to look at pictures, and I'm starting to see like, man, these guys are doing way better.
Yeah.
You know, and I started realizing like, man, this is the avenue I need to start going down because there's not a lot of people that are in this niche. And so that's what I did. I started doing more nutrition and just started building.
How did you learn that part of it? Did you like?
So just by doing the shows, which was a big part of like the whole nutrition part is I did the stuff myself and I was like, oh, okay, so this is what I do with the carbs and this is what I do with my fats and protein and calories. So you start learning a lot of it through yourself, right? Cutting water, changing your sodium. There's so much that goes into it. So when you learn all of it, you kind of try to start applying it with your clients.
Yeah.
And now my body's totally different than someone else's body. So you need, multiple clients to start learning different people's bodies.
Yeah, it's all data, right?
It's all data. So like, let's say I give all three of you guys a diet, right? Let's say it's the exact same diet. Well, you check in a week later and you say, oh, I lost a pound.
Yeah.
So I know, okay, that's a good diet for you because you were in a deficit and you lost a little bit of weight.
Right.
He checks in and he doesn't lose any weight. So I'm like, okay, maybe.
Sneaking food, bro.
Yeah, either he's sneaking food and he's
saying I can't have
cheating.
Jack in the Box?
yeah. He's either cheating or,
Yeah.
and I put a little thing in there that says like, how well were you 1 through 10? And
Got
if they
it.
say 10 and he hasn't lost weight, then I know I need to adjust his calories a little bit, right? And then let's say he gains a pound, then I really know, okay, I need to adjust some stuff.
I need to
with
put
his.
a lock on his fridge.
Yes, I need to put a lock on his fridge. But I can always tell. I can see, let me see your DoorDash. Let me see your
That would
receipts.
be a huge thing. There's like, this is part of the meal prep
give me your DoorDash
process.
account.
Give me your DoorDash account. I'm holding you accountable.
And the funniest part is I will have clients and they follow me on Instagram and I follow them back. And I know I watch their stories and they're out on Friday, Saturday night, drinking, partying.
yeah.
I see the tacos in the background, right? And then they check in, they're like 10 out of 10. I don't know why I didn't lose any weight. You're like
Sounds like someone we know.
hey, and then I'll
Sounds like a mutual friend.
and then I'll screenshot it, right? And I'll send it to them. I was like, 10 out of 10, huh? Question mark. And they're like, oh man, you got me. And I'm like, you're not helping yourself out.
The accountability is everything, right? That's any
Absolutely.
business, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're, you got a lot of clientele. Like it's accountability.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing to work your?
Yeah, and like being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, be honest with yourself. If you really want to get somewhere that you want to be honest with yourself, and like you said, hold yourself accountable. It's
really
how you
it.
succeed.
That's a lot of it.
A lot of people have
And I used to, when I was younger, it would bother me when someone would cheat. It would like, I would be pissed. Like it bothered me because I'm like, no, this works. Like I know it works. Like just do it. And when you do it, you're gonna see the results and you'll be happy with it. And sometimes you just get those people that Friday hits, Saturday hits, and it was like,
Can't help it.
So you used to get disappointed in your clients.
yeah. And then
as
I've
a coach,
learned,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But over time, I've learned. I'm like, okay, be patient with them. Like understand what they're going through.
Right.
People do have weddings. People do have like Vegas trips and things going like that. And that not everybody's like you, and the fact that they can just every single day eat the same foods,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's the thing I've learned is like patience with my clients for
Well,
sure.
the longer that they cheat, the longer they pay you. So
Yeah, I mean, that is true. But
hey, you're just paying me
Just
more.
give them a gift card to all these places. I can't eat this, but my friend gave this to me, so you can have it.
Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
You ever heard of it?
But you know what? In the beginning, like I said, it was never about the money, right?
right,
So
yeah.
I never cared about that part of it, and that's why I think I am where I am is because I never got into it because I was like, oh, I want to make money.
Nice.
And, I was like, I want to help people, and then from there, the money started coming.
A lot of similarities, what you're saying.
Yeah.
So 24-hour fitness, you started doing your own thing. How long were you at 24 though?
So I was there for about 3 years.
Okay, so that's a pretty good base foundation to learn from, I would imagine.
And you have to have that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people try to skip that step.
Okay.
And that's the big problem is they just want a lot of people see me and they're like, oh, I want to be
They are now. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. This takes it was a long journey to get to where I'm at now, right? I had to go train under a big name like 24 to get my name out there and get clients and understand like what goes on in a process, how to train someone, right? The right way.
Like fundamentals, right?
Fundamentals,
Yeah.
learning scheduling, learning being on time. There's so many things that go into it in the beginning. So I'm glad I learned all that stuff. And then I was able to take that and go, okay, now I can start something by myself. I'm sure a lot of guys that, sell houses, they start somewhere first, right?
Absolutely.
And then from there, they can probably go off and do their own thing. But in the beginning, you need structure. You need people telling you what to do. You need help. And that's what I had in the beginning.
Well, I mean,
synonymous.
Before I started, I literally didn't have my license, and I would come here for what?
Dude, you were here
6
by
months?
easy, like 3 or 4 days a week. If
3,
not
4,
more.
5 days a week, just coming here, just studying to get my, to pass my test, but just following him on every open house or every phone call. He's like, picks up the phone, I'm just going to sit in his office. And I'm just sitting there just being a sponge, soaking game. Like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need to put in the work and the hours, the 10,000 hour rule, right? To become an actual expert in your craft. Followed him. And once I got my license, it was like I had my knowledge for years already, just ready to skyrocket. And I benefited.
Hit the ground running.
Hit the ground running, clients after clients after clients, because I knew how to walk the walk, talk the talk, and be a real realtor, not just put on a costume and what's going on? You want to buy a house? I soaked the game, and it's definitely very parallel to.
And a lot of people want to skip that step.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
People they're always focused on the shiny
Everyone
object.
wants to skip. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to be successful right away? Like, of course you want to be successful right away, though. It's just not how it works.
No, it's not. You gotta do what you did, right, and learn everything first, and then from there, now that you know everything, then you can apply it.
And for myself, similar to what you said, it's not always about the money at first for people that are kind of, I would say, like pioneering a certain way. For you had to work at 24 Hour Fitness and learn that and, go through all these struggles. And now you're able to say, okay, you meet somebody that wants to be a trainer too. Now you can help them cut the learning curve because you went through all that.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
their learning curve is going to be much shorter than what yours might have been. You kind of paved the way, and now you're able to bring people through it, and they don't have to go through all the struggles. They're still going to go through struggles, just not all the ones that you went through.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, you just can't. Everybody wants to skip the line, right? But you just can't. I feel like there's maybe an exception to the rule, right? Some people can do it, very few, but
yeah. I mean, I still think maybe it's just they might still have foundationally had something that was the same. Like if you came in and became a realtor because you have a level of foundation in understanding of, I need to know at least the basics, or I need to go at least be around people. You could probably go become a realtor in the next year and have a lot of success because it's very similar mindset. And you understand accountability. You understand, working on your craft,
And
the amount of hours and relationships and follow up and all that other stuff. You could do it.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very similar.
The fundamentals are similar
Always
across
similar.
the board. Yeah.
100%. But it's all detail, right? It always goes back to details. And that's the one thing is like I do train Andre Ward, right? He's a Olympic boxer,
Yes.
32-0 Hall of Famer.
Maybe the greatest of all time.
Yeah, one of
maybe
them.
in my book.
He's up there,
Yeah.
right? And for sure.
Yeah.
And it sucks that he didn't have more guys like the Roy Jones Juniors and those type of guys, the bigger names, to basically make his name bigger. Because I think he beats all those guys. But the thing we always talk about is details. Everything. He's like, I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the strongest guy. I'm not the fastest guy. But he's like, a lot of these guys, they don't pay attention to the small details.
Yeah.
Some of them are going out and partying and drinking. He's like, anytime I fought anybody that was drinking, I already knew I had an advantage against them, right? He's like, they're out drinking, I'm training, you know? And he always knew, like, as long as he stuck to those little details and made sure he was doing all the little things, that he was working on his body, making sure that, he's getting his massages and his physical therapy and all that stuff done, right? He knew if he did all the little things, it would amount to bigger things.
Absolutely.
And that's why he's where he was.
Like the Mamba mentality, right? Like
Yeah.
Kobe's like nuts, same thing, right? Like he's up training in the morning when guys are coming in from
Guys are trying to beat him to get there in the morning, and he's icing his knees because he's, I'm going to go do my second workout.
Yeah.
Like, it's 4 a.m. I'm like, yeah. It's 3.
Absolutely. And that's how Andre was. They said his trainer would have to kick him out of the gym. That's
You
the type
need
of
some
guy.
rest, Go
like
rehab.
They would have to pull him out. Like he would say all the time, he was like, man, I'd be in there and they'd be like, no, you need to go home. You can't train. And he's just one of those type of guys. Like his mentality is different. Like I'll train him. Perfect example. I was training him a few months back, and I put him on the cardio machine, and I put it at, incline 10 and speed like 3.0. And I'm like, hey, just warm up. I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back. Right? Leave, come back. This thing's on 30 and it's on speed like 15. And I'm like, dude, we're warming up. What are you doing?
He's like, yes, we are.
Yeah, yeah, basically. And I'm like, man, what's going on over here? But that's just his mentality. That's how and everything he does. And so I get to see that every day. And I'm like, okay, when I want to, go to the gym and I'm kind of taking it a little easier than I should, I start thinking about him. I'm like, what would he do? And I'm like, all right, cool. You know what? I need to pick it up.
Yeah.
But he is, they're, those type of guys
Meticulous,
that are there,
man.
they're meticulous and they're very, very big on the details.
Right.
And you have to be. If you want to be great, you want to be one of the best, you got to go above and beyond. And it's the same thing with all of us, right? With my clients, I got to go above and beyond. For you guys, when you sell a house or you do anything like that, it's like giving them, a little present or giving them a little gift basket or something like that. It goes a long way.
Details,
the little call, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, whatever. Those things go a long way. It's the details, the little things.
Yeah.
So if you could do that, you're going to go far.
Just like you said with the whole birthday thing, it was just your birthday. You got phone calls and you remember those the most. Like that's one thing that I've always learned through like real estate coaching is like calling people on their birthday. Don't just send them a text. Sometimes I get lazy and do it, but I do my best to make sure I give people a call because they do remember. Even sometimes they'll say like, you were the only one that called. My parents didn't even, like my sister, my significant other didn't even call me.
Yeah.
They sent me a text. So yeah, big, like it goes a really long way.
And then the real ones are the ones that text you like the night, at midnight,
at
right?
midnight,
Like,
right, like,
I'm ready.
Call you at midnight.
Yeah.
They're like, happy birthday.
Yeah. Those are the ones, and those people like that, you cherish them and you're like, all right.
You
I
stayed
really
up
mess
late
with
for
you,
me.
and I remember.
And those are usually like your best friends from forever, right
Yeah.
there.
But
You've
you-
been doing
one
that
for
for
sure.
years.
But think about it. Your best friends are the ones that do it. But if your realtor all of a sudden hits
Did
you
it?
up
You're
or
like,
something
now you're my best friend.
Like, you're my best friend. Like, and no one ever wants to fire their best friend, right?
right.
At the end
No.
of the day, like, if you have that relationship with someone.
That was fire. Say
now
that again.
guess what I'm selling myself. Yeah.
Say that again. That was fire.
But, no one wants to. I'm telling you. And we have that relationship, right? And now you just sold me a house, and now I'm getting ready to sell a second one.
Right.
I'm going to you again
Yeah.
because we have that relationship.
Right.
But if you're, cool and you're just another realtor or whatever, then maybe I'm not going to go to you. Maybe I'm going to go to the next guy that's a little bit hotter, a little bit more bigger name than you, right?
Yeah.
But no, people will always pick their friends over that person for sure.
Right.
So I think it's really important to build that relationship with that person.
I got a question. So you mentioned Andre Ward, and you have a long list of people of that caliber, right? And it's going to grow. Let me ask you this: was there a time where your client, like say Andre reaches out to you or someone reaches out to you, you were training the president of 24, so that's still a pretty big client. But is there ever a time where you're like, man, am I doubting myself on training some of these bigger names because this is my first time or my first few times? Is there a time with that? Because I know as being an entrepreneur, self-doubt kind of does, and you always have to try to eliminate that. And all the people you coach, I would imagine there's a lot of doubt. Oh, I'm gonna go train with Bobby, or I'm gonna get coached by Bobby. He's gonna be at me, accountability, all this other stuff. You start to doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Is there a time, like a client where you were like, oh man, I gotta really show up for this, or I'm doubting myself, am I good enough? Because people feel that.
I think the doubt comes in like when you're not prepared, in the sense that like, if you know your craft and you're really, really good at it, and I'm the type of guy, when I go home, most people are like on Netflix looking for something to watch, right? I'm on the internet trying to figure out more things to learn, right? I'm watching this guy's podcast, that guy's podcast. I'm watching videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm doing whatever I can to educate myself so that when I get that opportunity with Andre, I know everything that I'm supposed to do, right?
Yep.
So I just think being super prepared has always helped me personally. It was one of those things where I felt really, really confident going in and training him, because I'm like, I've seen how Conor McGregor trains. I see how, Colby Covington trains. I see how all his GSP, I've seen all their videos. I know what they do. I know how they train. So when I'm with him one-on-one, I'm like, okay, I have a million things I want to show you.
Got it.
And so I think I'm just being prepared and knowing your craft and knowing what you're doing, it helps a lot. It's like going and showing someone a house. If you really know that house and you know exactly where you're supposed to start from and what you're supposed to show them and what you're supposed to talk about, I think it's pretty easy to show somebody a house, right? Confidence, because you're prepared.
Act like you've been there before too. Yeah, it makes you feel like you've been there before too. You're prepared. So
preparation overcomes doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Done.
There you go. And I think that's like the biggest thing when it comes to like anything that you do, right? If you're prepared, you're good.
But then I also feel like there's guys like me where I feel like I don't feel comfortable unless I'm prepared. And then I know Blaine just from, I've known him forever, but I know him even more from like working side by side. He's the type that's just going to get in the room and figure it out.
I'm a gamer, but like also prepared, right?
There's always
prepared.
I'm prepared guy.
I'm a gamer.
He's a gamer.
he is.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm going to just
You
get
enjoy
the,
it.
like,
I enjoy it, yeah.
He's going to get the opportunity no matter what, even if he's like, for me, I'm like, if I'm not fully prepared, I'll feel like, I'm not confident. Him is just, I'll get there and I'll figure it out and I'll prepare.
Yeah, I did a video with these guys. I was like, just say yes, and then get the opportunity. And if you have a little time, study, then figure it out. But like, don't pass the opportunity up. If you know it's a good opportunity, I'm gonna say yes. And then if it's like instantaneous, then I'm like, all right.
You're just not afraid of the moment.
No.
That's a lot of it, right?
yeah.
I think, you talked about coming here even before you got your license. You're here for several months while you're studying. You could have studied at home, right?
Yeah.
You could have studied at Starbucks or whatever it is in your car. But for you, you came here. So you did prepare.
Yeah.
Like you very much were prepared to
Right.
become a realtor,
Yeah.
a licensed realtor. But
Right.
for the most part, you just like the moment.
Yeah.
You actually crave it. You're sports
100%. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And some people do great in those
Yeah.
moments, right? Some people are the best when they're under the lights.
Right.
Some people shy away,
Yeah.
no matter how prepared you are. Some people, and you're one of those guys.
Right.
So prep, man. So prep is everything.
Well, that's one last person I want to shout out just because he's a GOAT it's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
The guy has always been prepared from Michigan, to the Patriots. When Drew Bledsoe went down, you think that guy wasn't prepared?
He was ready. He was
He was
salivating.
ready.
He was just a dog, just ready to go. And that's why I love the guy, because he even does it more so now in his 100th year in the league, right?
Yeah.
He's still preparing like that, or even more so. But I know for a fact the second that Drew Bledsoe went down in that playoff game, Tom Brady's like, there was no doubt in his mind, because he prepared just like that, and he still does.
And everybody in that huddle knows that he was prepared,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So, like, what was it, last week that he came back and they're on the, I don't know, they had to go 60 yards in 33 seconds.
Classic Tom Brady.
Right? I mean, but we all knew. We're watching it and we're like,
We know what's gonna happen.
We know what's going to happen here. So you don't think that huddle knows what's going to happen?
Exactly.
The fans know what's going to happen because he's ready. He's played that in his mind a million times.
And there's a reason, because when Drew Bledsoe was healthy enough to play in that Super Bowl his first year when he got his shot, he could have, Bill Belichick could have been like, our guy, Drew, you're back in. We're paying you millions of dollars. But he's like, this young cat is prepared, and he's taken that spotlight and said, let's go. I can't take him out.
You always bet on Brady, bro.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get that opportunity, right? And a lot of people fumble that opportunity, right? Like with Andre, I could have easily fumbled it.
That's
right?
right. That's kind of what I'm getting at is that
Yeah.
you think you made it at that point in time, right?
Right.
You think you've been recognized, and you probably have, and it's all these things. But in order for you to stay in the game or with clients and level up your clients, like I said, you're going to have more and more coming. You have to the preparation doesn't stop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
never.
Like you said, you go home at night.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, if you want to be the best at something, or because there's always someone else. There's always someone ready to take your spot.
Yeah.
And I know that as a trainer, I'm like, it's competitive out there now. Everybody wants to train, and
Especially probably
everybody
after COVID, right?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
That industry took off.
It's insane right now, and everybody wants to be the next C-Bum. Everybody wants to, they want to be the next guy. And it's your guys' industry is the same exact way. Everybody wants to, once something's big and it starts getting popular and people start making money off of it, guess what? Everybody else wants to start doing it too.
I can do that.
And I think the underlying thing, being prepared, passionate, and all that but the underlying word and emotion that you show that you have and greats, and I think Kobe Bryant's the one that said it, is love.
Yeah, absolutely.
You literally, I could see it from you love doing it. And these great people love doing it. Like, they love to be there early in the morning. You probably train X amount of people, 10 people, 20, 30, 40 people a day. And then you go home and you're like, I love this so much. Let's go learn more.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's the love.
And I'll get check-ins in the morning. I wake up and my phone, I have 200-300 check-ins in a day.
Jeez.
Right? So I'm sitting there. It's like, if I hated that, I'd be like, oh my God, I got
Right.
to do it. Dude, I'm excited. I'm literally like, what? Let me see what this person looks like. Let me see what's going on with this guy. And I'm lucky because I train so many different type of people. I'll have somebody from the Niners cheerleading squad. Then I'll have a mom, right? Or then I have somebody who's getting ready for a wedding. So I have all types of different clients. So it's cool. Like, I have somebody in the UFC getting ready to make weight. So once they make weight, I get to go watch them fight, which is really, really cool, right? So it's cool because I actually love what I'm doing, and I love all these different sports. So I don't know. It's just one of those things.
When did that start to shift? Like you leave 24, you're doing nutrition, you're doing training. Like when did that start to shift and you really started like to see it take off?
Man, honestly, as I was winning more and more shows, you know, just winning shows, it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I got to a point where it was like, all right, am I going to be able to do this all by myself? And then I started thinking maybe I can hire somebody, but nobody wants to work with your assistant. They want to work with you. So I was like, okay, that's not going to work. You know, I got to do this full time. And so then I stopped with 24 and I just stuck with the nutrition part of it. And I've been doing it full time ever since.
And nutrition's like more wide scope, right? You talked about scaling out. You know, we talk about scaling on the podcast a lot, but scaling out is easier. Imagine nutrition plays a big part of being able to scale because you can reach so many people at one time,
That
right?
was the main thing.
Yeah.
It was being able to reach more people. How can I get to more people? So now I have people from all around the world.
Yeah.
You know, China, Canada, everywhere.
Yeah.
So what was that scale play for you? Like what was that? What did you do to scale to get those people in Canada?
Social media. I mean, it's always going to go back to social media. I think that's like the most important platform is probably Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff like really, really helps. You can really get out there.
What
to
platform
people.
was for you? What was
Instagram for sure.
So like, how do you train people in China?
So it's tough because now their food's a little different, you know, things like that. But for the most part, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, hey, you need to eat these type of foods.
So they reach out to you and you're setting up, like, explain a little bit about that just for people that don't know, like, about that type of training. Like,
So someone will hit me up on Instagram. Hey, I just saw your pictures, you know, or I saw this person's body and I want to look like that. I want to have that same transformation. So basically from there I go, okay, well here, this is my information. Basically send me a text message on my WhatsApp. And then from there I take a bunch of information from them, right? What do they like to eat? What are they allergic what are they allergic to? Things like that. And I get as much information. That's the most important part. Getting as much information as you can from that client. And then from there, being able to build them a plan. Once you build them a plan, they start doing the plan, and then you're
adjusting
tweak and
as you
adjusting,
go,
and you're taking pictures and you're looking at their weight. And there's a lot that goes into it, but that's basically the beginning.
What made you realize that you can even do that? Like most trainers, they just train in person. So like, what was the shift that made you realize I can actually have people that aren't in front of me that all over the world, and I can use?
So what it was taking my friends, right? And I was doing a lot of like my sister, my brother, my cousins, and just people that
building
I knew,
your book of business, right?
Building my book of business.
Your brag book, they call it.
Yes, that was it, the brag book.
Yep.
And seeing, oh wow, like look at her body, what has changed in 3 weeks, 5 weeks, and then keeping those there and having that to be able to share with other people. But it was basically seeing how people's bodies were shifting and changing and going, hey man, this really works. The nutrition part is really important. It works for me, but you have to remember not everybody cares about how I look, right? Sure. Like a lot of people will look at me and go, well, he looks really good, but there's always going to be, what is he taking? Right. What is he eating? What is he doing? He's probably in the gym 3-4 hours a day. But when you could take someone who's like your friend or a mom or somebody like that, and then you can change their body, then everybody's like, oh wow, he's
something more relatable, right? Like, oh, I have a kid, or I have a 9-to-5, or I work graveyards, and you changed me. Like, that's relatable. Like,
yes, and people with me, it's social media, and I have people from the Bay Area, a lot of people in the Bay Area, but someone will see their friend and they'll be like, man, that guy, what? I could do that. If he could do it, I can do it, right? Yeah. And I'm sure I have a couple friends that you guys have seen work with me, and
absolutely,
that you're like, I could do that. If he could do it, I could do it.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's a big part of it. And I think that's where my business really started getting bigger, is people started seeing their friends doing it and seeing people that are normal people going from this dad bod to, oh, wow, he has a six-pack now. And so I think that really shifts people. Seeing me is one thing, but seeing your friends and seeing somebody who doesn't have that body and doesn't really live that lifestyle change their lifestyle, I think that goes a long ways.
I think that how that relates to our business in real estate is it's part of my book of business or how I handle my business is when we close a transaction or I close a transaction, it's always I bring our awesome creative team with me to shoot a key handoff, and it's never like I sold this house, hey, this is Blaine, I did this.
Yeah.
It's always the buyer or the seller, and it's them talking about either, this was a great experience, Blaine did a great job, so it's not me, because I could sit here till I'm blue in the face. I had this conversation the other day and say, I'm great, I did this, but I'm always going to believe that because I'm confident and I believe in myself. But when the person who went through that could sit there and say that about me, it translates so much more to that next person that might want to use you.
Absolutely.
That, hey.
Well, it's especially if you know, if I can do it, you can do it mentality. And if someone that we know is like, oh man, that person maybe has this income level,
Right.
or they have these challenges in their life, maybe it was a credit thing, or maybe they didn't have a job for the last year and a half because of COVID, but then they got a really good job back in the workforce, and then they bought a house. Someone's like, man, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, there's just a lot of that in real estate. There's a lot of that investing in general. And it's like, man, if I would have just worked the program or been disciplined by either a coach, because a lot of times real estate agents, loan officers, whatever, are coaches. You're a coach. You just try to put them on a path for success. They just got to buy into it.
Absolutely, for sure.
And the reviews do that.
The reviews, yeah.
Because there's people go like, oh man, I know what kind of job he has, or they have, or whatever.
Hey, he bought it $800,000.
Yeah, like
I'm renting.
Blaine, how do I do that?
How do I do it? And that's what it is.
That's
And
exactly what
that
it is.
person saying it means so much more than me saying it, because everybody's like, we know, Blaine, you're confident. Like, we don't care what you're saying.
Yeah.
Shut up. Like, if, you know.
Seen your face already, dude.
Yeah. Tina
Yeah,
from,
it's
you know.
Proof is in the pudding.
It is definitely,
Yeah.
but it's teamwork. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I can be the greatest coach in the world, but
Right.
if my client isn't willing to put in the work, it doesn't matter how good of a coach I am.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's always a teamwork. It's always team effort, right? So I always try to, you know, I'll get somebody saying, "Oh man, thank you so much, you helped me." I'm like, "No, we did this as a
We,
team. It was
yeah.
we. It's always we."
Big
right?
deal.
It is a big deal, and they start understanding, like, we need each other. So when they do want to go off and kind of do their own thing, they start going, "Oh
They
man,
come back.
like, we are better together than
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
not together."
It's the investment now.
Yes.
So, like James was saying, is you had to scale. And let me ask you this: like, where was your like number of clientele before you started really scaling out, like using social media, and, you know, saying, okay, I can go the nutrition route as well and actually go more mass. Like, what's the difference in client size? Like, were you doing like 50 clients, 100 clients, and then you jumped to 500 clients?
It was like one of those things I always say, it was like a snowball effect. It was like it just kept rolling and kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was maybe 50 clients, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing all right. You know,
Yeah.
it's good. And then I did a second show, and then it was like, okay, now you have 100 clients, and you're like, okay. And then you get 150, 200. I mean, I stopped counting. I don't even.
Really?
Oh yeah, I don't even.
Okay.
It's up there for sure, but. I don't care. I'm going to take clients. I know that I see on Instagram all the time, people are like, I have 10 slots left. And I'm like, what? You have 10 slots? I'll take however many people I can
Yeah.
take. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
there's no 10 slots for me. I'm going to take, that's money. I'm not going to leave that on the table.
Yeah.
But I also have to give quality of service too. And that's why I do it full time. And I make sure that everybody gets, you know, the same service, because you start helping one person out a certain way, and then, you know, you forget about other people. That's kind of could go wrong.
So I have a question. So you do have people online, obviously, that don't come to see you, so they're all over the world, right? Do you have like people that, or have you ever considered people like running the online and you kind of managing it, or you're just all in, just by
I have to do it because, like, let's say you're my client, right? And we're going back and forth. I have to be able to know what adjustments I need to make for your diet. And if the person that's working for me, they don't know what adjustments to make, then they give you a diet, and then now all of a sudden it doesn't work and you're not losing weight, then it looks bad on me,
so
right?
you don't want to, that you feel like the quality is going to start going down if you
Yeah.
have someone helping you with that.
But now I'm getting ready to open up a gym, and I think it'll be a little bit easier because I can be under the same roof as them, right? So we can meet up, I can be there. Maybe they take care of a lot of the talking and all that other stuff, but then when we go over the diet, we can go over it together, like, and then I can start really teaching them what I'm doing, right? It's kind of like what you guys said. You guys go off of each other and teach each other what to do. That's probably what I'm gonna have to do down the road. Because with the gym, I know I'm gonna be even more busy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother venture
Yeah.
that changes your mindset, right? You know, of operationally, all the other things that you have to worry about, from like, just, I have to put attention to this, but my other business can't fail because this is how I got here.
Yes.
You know, I think we struggle with that. You know, we're always constantly trying to think of like the next thing we can do that's ancillary to our real estate business, and we're always thinking of how we can grow in the future. And you don't want to let go of what you've built, though.
Yeah, scaling is a popular conversation on this podcast, and like buying your time back is a popular topic on this podcast, where the struggles that you as an entrepreneur you face, like we talked about on another podcast, where you go from you working directly with your clients, and then you get so busy where it's like your whole entire schedule is full, and you're like, how do I buy my time back? How do I spend time with my friends and family still? How do I make sure that my clients get serviced and there's no lack in quality? Like, those are all things that every entrepreneur has to consider, right? So moving on to the business, you know, having a physical location, a gym, you're able to do that, and then your next struggle becomes, okay, so spending time working in my business and then spending time working on my business. How do I market, accounting, operations, payroll,
Yeah,
all
the
of
whole
that.
thing, yeah.
And how do I make sure the clients are happy, make sure customer service is happy, make sure they're getting what they need and showing the
You have
results.
employees, like that's
Employees,
totally
yeah.
good.
It's a lot.
So let me ask you this: since we are talking about the gym now, how'd you handle that? Did you partner with someone? Can you talk about that? Are you
Yeah, so I have a partner,
Okay.
but the good thing is he doesn't even work out. He's like not in
Got it.
to working out. So it's like my thing, right? It's like I don't have to have that conversation like, well, I want to do this or I want to do that. It's like I've done that before. I tried to go 50-50 with someone, open a gym. Didn't work because they have what they want to do and I have what I want to do. And we kept bumping heads. And
Yeah.
I basically got out of that. And then I was like, okay, the next time I do it, I'm going to do it by myself, right? I'm not going to have someone there to tell me what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
So having this project, it's like it's me and it's my
Nice.
vision and what I want to do with it. And I've been preparing for this for like 2-3 years. I've always wanted to open up gym. I've always wanted to give the Bay Area something they don't have. We go to Fitness 19, 24. These gyms are very corporate and they're set for everybody, right?
Yeah.
It's like they don't care. They just want people to come in and basically spend money and get a membership, and they don't even care if you show up.
They're
A lot of
banking
people-
on you not showing up back?
Yeah, they actually
Yeah.
are. Exactly. And they don't want you to show up. And I go to San Diego, I go to LA, I go to Vegas, I go to these other places, and I go to their gyms, and I'm like, wow, they have amazing gyms, right? Top of the line machines, cardio equipment, music. They're clean, parking, all of that stuff. So I'm like, okay, why do we not have this, right? And so that I just started realizing, I'm like, man, if I can really capitalize on this, open something up here, and give everybody that same thing that LA has, San Diego
Yeah.
has, it's going to do really, really well.
And I think boutique feel has reason why it's always going to be a good play to kind of be that mindset or have that mindset within your business. I mean, having a boutique feel like you feel special. You feel like you belong to something that maybe a lot of the masses don't. I think we try to tailor even just our look and feel of even our office. We want to be more boutique style. We want to have a large team eventually, but also if we don't, it's totally okay because we know that the clients are either being serviced or they feel like they belong to a brand that's a little more boutique. I'm always that.
More
mentality.
lifestyle,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm more that mentality. And if the gym's like that, you're going to want to go to the gym even more.
Absolutely. And now we all know, like with TikTok and Instagram, people want, when they're recording these videos, they don't want a 24-hour fitness. They want, you look at certain gyms, you're like, well,
Yep.
what gym is that? And it's in Texas or it's in Vegas.
Yeah.
So that's big, right? And we don't have that out here.
Right.
So I want to build something that's really aesthetically pleasing. When you're recording
Nice.
something, you're like, wow, this is amazing.
I gotta go to that gym.
I got to go to that gym.
Yeah.
There's cloud
What gym
attached
is
to
that?
it too. If you
Yeah.
have multiple people that are like
100%.
influencers going there, you're commonly seeing like people making their workout videos and they're at this gym. Maybe they have the gym merch and they're like, oh, I want to be a part, like you said, a part of something.
Absolutely. And everybody that's the thing is I'm trying to build a culture out here. I'm trying to build a community that is just that. They want to be a part of something. And so right now I'm building this gym and I'm picking out like flooring, right? So I have my friends and I have them vote. Which floors do you guys like?
Yeah.
Right.
Which dumbbells do you guys like?
Yeah.
Right? What color should the machines be? So now they're voting and I'm taking their vote and I'm using that and putting
Nice.
it into the gym. And so now they feel like they're a part of something, which they are, right? They're like, oh, I helped pick that out. Oh, I helped pick out those lights, right? So now they really feel when this thing opens up, they're like, I was a big part
already
of that.
bought in.
They're already bought in.
Yeah, there's some ownership.
There's some ownership
Yeah.
in it, and I'm trying to build something for everybody. And this is not a me thing. It's like I'm doing well with my whole Body by Bobby nutrition thing. This is something that I want to really give back to the community and build something like super, super special that.
And this is going to be which market?
What do you mean?
Where's the gym at?
San Ramon.
San Ramon. Okay,
yep,
cool.
right off of Crow Canyon.
Got it. So East Bay area for the
East
people.
Bay
Yep.
area.
Yep.
And like I said, it was a 2-3 year thing because I was trying to find gyms, but there's no high roofs at this location that I wanted.
Got
and
it.
then there's no parking for this location that I wanted. And there's a certain thing when you build a gym, you have to have parking, you have to have high roofs, you have to have space. So there's so many things that go into it, and it was really hard to find. But with COVID and a lot of people leaving businesses and stuff, things started opening up.
How long did that process take for you to get your location?
Almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 years. Because like I said, I would find something and it would be big enough, but then the roofs weren't high enough, right? And no one wants to go in a gym and you're like sitting down or you feel like you're claustrophobic. Or I get a space and it's plenty big and then there's no parking.
Yeah.
What's the number one complaint I get from people? I pulled up to the gym and I couldn't even, find a parking spot.
It's like the gym in the veranda. The gym in the veranda. You put a gym there, Dave and Buster's, and a movie theater. Like, there's no parking in that place ever. I would never go to that gym.
Yeah. And
You know,
Gym there?
yeah, you don't even know there's a gym there.
yeah, and Equinox is another one. Like you have to park in this huge.
Yeah.
It's like a parking place that you can't even park. And so how am I supposed to go to the gym? And a lot of people, they already don't want to go to the gym,
Right.
Right.
So
So
they
they
get met
pull
with
up.
obstacles.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
well,
like,
don't gotta go.
don't gotta go today.
Yeah.
You know.
But I'll go with Salt and Straw downstairs because it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. So I try to take in, all these things that I heard over the years. I try to take all of that stuff and go, okay, people want a really, really clean gym. They want really, really good lighting. I can't tell you how many times someone's complained to me about the music at 24 or Fitness 19.
It's terrible.
The music's terrible, right? People want to go to a gym where they can hear the music and it's music that they like to hear, right?
It's current.
So my thing is I'm just trying to take all of these things that 24 and Fitness 19 are messing up on and capitalize on all that
Got it.
stuff and bring it here to the Bay because we deserve that.
Yeah.
Like we're the Bay Area. We
Yeah.
deserve something special too, right? And so I think that this gym is going to do really, really
What a
well.
cool
I really
project.
do. Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
Nice.
Do
Let
you
me
have
go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you have an estimated time for grand opening?
I think we're going to do February. Initially we were hoping January. I got the place in October, and I have some of the best workers, and they're in their
Nice.
10-hour days working their butts off to get this place
Yeah.
going. But I'm thinking February is probably going to be the.
Is there a name of the gym you can tell us yet?
Yeah, it's the Lab.
The lab.
Okay.
All right.
And it was kind of and once again, my Instagram friends and people helped me pick that out. I had a few names that I wanted, but they were like the Lab was the best one, and that was the one that won the vote.
Nice.
But I watch NBA, and they're like, oh, Harden's in the Lab, like, and I'm
More
like, oh, that's
music,
kind of
I'm
cool.
going,
He's
100%.
in
Yeah.
the Lab, he's working out, he's working on his game, and then I started seeing a couple posts like in the Lab. I'm like, hey, that's kind of catchy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we kind of went with that. But once again, I can't take full credit. It was Instagram.
Same
right?
thing here. Like
great
our, you saw our gym downstairs, and it's really basketball focused. But I mean, it's just a small training facility. And one of the trainers like deemed it the Pit, and it was like kind of cool because it's obviously where we're at in the city, but it's like
Yeah.
the Pit is like a
Pittsburgh,
place
yeah,
where you
Pit.
like
Yeah.
you get it
dirty.
right. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
gritty,
I'm in the
right?
Pit, yeah.
It's
So-
it's actually well known in the community. Like
As the
I've
Pit.
done like some
They're like, oh yeah, this is the gym. They're
community
like,
stuff.
oh, you mean the Pit?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm like, I didn't even know it was called that for the longest
Yeah.
time. They're like the Pit. I'm like,
The people named it.
yeah, I'm like,
the
all right,
people
yeah,
named
like,
it. That's
yeah,
what, but that's what
Yeah.
it is, right? The people named
People.
it. So as you got this whole new venture coming on, brick and mortar's everything. You got employees. We talked about that scaling. How did you, as an entrepreneur, how are you dealing with those new opportunities and struggles of owning something like that? Because you have to pick out the floor, you have to, the design, manage contractors, then you're going to have your payroll and all that stuff. How are you doing that? Because I know you've seen it with 24, but how are you kind of like handling it? Because those are new struggles as an entrepreneur that you have to take on.
Man, I have the best team around me.
Okay,
Friends,
cool. Yeah.
family.
Nice.
They all like help. And without them, there's none of this stuff happens, right? There's no Body by Bobby, there's none of that.
Right.
But with the gym especially, it's like having my social media friends that help me out. Having you guys that are like, hey, you should do this and you should do that. I always have support. I kid you not. When I originally posted the gym and it was completely empty, I had maybe like 4 or 5 people like, hey, I'll do your guys from high school, friends, I'll do your electricity for you. I'll do your plumbing. I had people coming out of the woodworks just offering to help me out. It was crazy. It was so overwhelming because I'm like, oh, I already have someone for this. Okay, well, if you want, I'll do it for free. Like, I'm like, dang, man, that's crazy. Like, so many people wanted to help out.
They want to see you succeed, though.
Yeah, they want to see me succeed,
Yeah.
and more than anything, they want to be a part of something. But
Yep.
it's just those relationships I built. It's like friends from high school that are like, I've seen where you were. You used to serve tables, and like now you're here and you're opening your own gym. It's like I want to keep seeing you grow, and I want to keep you, helping you out. And they've been like reaching out to me and trying to help, and it's crazy. It's been so overwhelming, but it's those relationships you build.
yeah, I'm pretty impressed I was pretty impressed, like when I went to your show in San Jose, I was pretty impressed by the amount of people that you had there. It's like almost like half, like it felt like half the room, maybe a quarter of the room, but it was a pretty large amount compared to other guys on the stage. Like you had a pretty big group of people there following you, and I was pretty impressed. Like, damn, like he might, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like you were the like you for sure won because there were so many people there for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was pretty impressive to see that. Like, what do you feel like? I know we've talked a little bit about it already, but like, what do you feel like that's from? Like, what do you feel like you're doing that allows you to have such a big like support system?
I think
following?
you remember, it was like just going back to building relationships and making sure that every single relationship you have means something, right? So when I anytime I'm with a friend or whoever, right, I don't have a lot of time. So anytime that I'm spending with that person, it's like it's important, and they realize it too. They're like, okay, you know, he's taking time out for me. But more than anything, listening, right? That's like the biggest thing. Is I've always been a talker, talk. But the thing I'm trying to be really, really good at is like, okay, what about them? What take in what they're saying and listening and making sure, like, you know, you really understand what's going on with James and his life and what's going on with you, right? Like, I think that's the most important part, is just building those relationships, but really genuinely caring and listening to what, not just what's going on with my life, but, you know, I have a lot going on, but I don't want to just me. It's like, okay, what's going on with you? What are you doing? Because, you know, that's important.
Right. Yeah.
And so just building good relationships with people, man, and it's a work. It's not easy. You know, it's easy to just have a conversation that doesn't really go anywhere and you kind of just move on, but having those like real deep conversations with people and knowing what's going on with their lives, this is really important.
I have this like mindset or theory. It's like everyone has their own a bank account, right? Like I have to deposit into your bank account so many times before I can withdraw from you, right? And we all know that if you overdraft on a bank account, like there's no money in there and there's going to be repercussions of some sort, right? Fees or whatever. But I feel like that's what you're doing. You know, you're depositing in people's bank accounts essentially. And then even when you don't, and you're watching that money grow, that's your relationship growing. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't draw from it, people are like, oh, dude, we're going to pay you. Like, let me help you out. I got this. Or I'm going to do your flooring. Or I'm going to do your electrical. Or I'm going to help you with your books or whatever it is. That's just them giving you back your your investment.
Yeah.
And I think that's
and you never go in it like, I'm trying to build this because I want something back. You know, I honestly, truly never ever want to do something for someone hoping that I get something back. I've never been that person. And I think that, you know, being genuine in those relationships and like having real friendships goes so much farther than, you know, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
You know, like that LA mentality. It's like, no one wants to be your friend. They just want something for themselves.
The next step up.
Yeah, the next step up. How can I move up that ladder, right? That's for me.
I respect it when you're open about it, you know,
Right.
because like I think like bigger markets, LA, even like New York for sure works like that. It's just like, what can you do for me? Okay, cool. I'm gonna go to the next one. They're like just open about it. They're like, I'm sorry, man, I can't waste some time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over here. But it's cool. Like I went through that when I worked out in New York, you know, for a few years. But it was like, man, it's hard to kind of digest that because there's nothing genuine.
Right.
You kind of just feel like a commodity to some people, and it's just like, man, I'm cheap.
Right.
Like, I don't have anything to offer you, dude.
So you got the gym, and then I also saw like on social media and stuff that you were with a big name. You're training a big name guy now. Are we allowed to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we can talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I did sign a non-disclosure letter with them.
Okay.
But it's Mr. Beast, right? He's like this huge YouTuber, and I think he's like the #1 YouTuber in the world.
Yeah,
right
he's
now, right?
he's up there.
Yeah, he's up there. So basically, I got an opportunity. I got a phone call, and it was during my peak week, so the week right before my show.
Oh man,
and
you're like depleted and tired.
Oh, I'm depleted, body fat's low, tired, barely eating any food, and then I get a phone call saying, "Hey, we want you to fly out to North Carolina to come train Mr. Beast."
Yeah.
So I'm like, in the beginning, I was like, I can't do it. There's no way.
Yeah.
Right. And all my family's like, no, you have to. There's such a good opportunity. My brother's a big fan of his, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you have to go. He was just on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was on the Nelk Boys podcast.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go. This is way more than what the stage will ever give you. You need to fly out there and go. And I'm like, I'm during peak week. I have to eat a certain amount of food. The food has a certain amount of seasoning on it. Like, it's weighed out.
Yeah.
How am I going to be able to do this? So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. You know, and then you got to take those leaps, right? And that's what life's all about, is like doing things that make you uncomfortable and knowing that it's going to be really, really tough, but you got to do it. So what I did is I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. 1 hour flight, 1 hour drive to San Francisco.
Okay.
5 hour flight to the East Coast.
Okay.
You lose 3 hours because you're flying out to the East Coast. And then once I got there, I'm like, okay, well, you know, he's probably like 10 minutes away from the airport, 2 hours away. So now I'm driving 2 hours. Finally get to him.
All by yourself.
All by myself, right? And all by myself. I have some food I had taken with me, and after the first day, I run out of the food. I'm like, oh, great, here we go. But I'm training the guy, and I'm with him for 4 or 5 hours, and you're supposed to be eating every couple hours. I didn't even tell my coach, because, you know, I have a coach too, right? I didn't tell him that I was flying out there, because I already know he would have told me no.
Yeah.
He would have said, no, don't do it. But I fly out there, meet up with him, you know, and I train him, and everything went great. And originally he wanted me to move out to North Carolina. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't live out there. I have too many things. I have the gym opening up.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of my clientele's here. So we work something out where, you know, I don't have to be out there all the time. I can fly out there every few months and meet up with them and stuff like that. But man, I'm telling you, I was running to Target. I'm running to Walgreens trying to get food, Ubering everywhere. It was tough, but nobody cares, right?
Yeah.
You have an opportunity like this, you got to go take it.
Absolutely.
And the day of the show, no one cares that you flew out the week before to go see Mr. Beast. They want to see you look good on that day,
Yeah,
right? And like you said, I had a lot of friends come
Yeah.
out and watch me, and it was a little stressful, you know, because you like want to show your best work, but I kind of knew with the flight and all that stuff, like I was going to hold a little water, and I might not be my best, but at the end of the day, I come back, I'm super happy that, you know, it all worked out the way it
Absolutely.
worked
So you were able to fly out there, train him. He just wanted you to come for the day and just
out.
train
It was
him
like
for
a
the
couple
day?
days, so it was I kind of like followed him around and saw what his life was like and seeing like
You learning your client?
learning my client, you know,
Yeah.
and building a relationship with him and seeing like, you know, what his life is outside of, you know.
I was gonna say, in hindsight, you having the show and you're at the, you know, top pinnacle peak of performance and how your body should look, right?
Yeah.
You flying, having those troubles of travel, not being able to eat, and you're training him. Is it known, like, because I watched that Nelk podcast with him, and he kind of explained it's like him against another dude,
Yeah.
and Bradley Martin's training the other guy.
Yes, exactly.
So, and it kind of gave you maybe a little insight on how it's going to go for him, training, moving around, and like may have like, you know, tailored his training and eating, because you're like, okay, well, I'm basically flying, moving everywhere,
Right.
doing kind of similar things that he'll be doing.
Oh, yeah.
So now I have a little insight on this is how I can make it work for his busy schedule.
Oh
right?
yeah, and his life is so
I
busy.
can only imagine.
I mean, I was with him for 4 hours, and I just, you know, people see his YouTubes, right? And they're like, oh, wow, he's so popular. He probably just filmed something and he's done.
No.
It's like, man, there's so much that goes into
Preparation.
Preparation. But he has a guy for everything, and he's running around, and he's literally being told what to do, how to do it, why to do it, right? You have an interview in 5 minutes, and then once you're done with that interview, we're going to go here, and you got to pick out your clothes for the award show, and then we have to do this and that, and it's just on and on and on all day long. And the guy literally sleeps at his studio. Like 70% of the time, he's sleeping at the studio. He doesn't even go home.
Yeah.
And so people see, oh, he's a billionaire, and he's worth all this money,
Sure.
and they see what you see on YouTube, but they don't see everything that goes on. I could never live that life, because it's just crazy. But back to loving something that you do, he loves it so much, and it's
Nice.
everything to him. So it's not work for him.
What I'm thinking about right now is it's crazy because what you do, I mean, money can buy your time, right? Like income you have you train. But what I'm thinking is what you would have to have him do, like there's a level of discipline to it. If he wants to look a certain way, you know, or be healthy, or, you know, nutrition is everything, he has to listen to you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he can have all this money, he can have all this entire busy schedule. Either way, like for him to achieve what you want him to achieve and help him with, he has to like just listen.
Submit,
And you actually have to have a guy like him to be able to submit and actually give his attention to you. And it's like, man, no one else can do this for him. It has to be him.
That's got to be pretty flattering, though, you know, for like someone like that's billionaire, huge on YouTube, like just entrepreneur, like for him to reach out, you know, there's probably a lot of trainers that are bigger than you on social media. Like, how do you feel like a guy like that gave you an opportunity?
I think it goes just back to like, you know, the work that you've put in before, right? And like I have a lot of like before and afters, and I've trained other guys like Andre, and so I think people see what you've done and see your body of work, and they're like, hey, this is the guy you want to go to. Like, this is, you know, my goal is to be the biggest trainer in California or in the world or whatever, right? That's always the goal, is like to be the best at what you do. And you got to start somewhere, but like these are all stepping stones for me to get to where I want to get to, you know. Training Andre was a big step for me, and then now training Mr. Beast. And to me, you know, it's training either one of those guys. It's like these guys are huge celebrities, and they're big at what they do. And for me, it's, you know, I have a long ways to go still where I want to go and where I want to be, but it's a big stepping stone for me for sure. So it's flattering, absolutely. Like I'm super happy about it. And, you know, that's why I was like, I got to go. I got to fly. No matter how hard this is going to be, and it was tough.
Yeah.
It's like you don't get these opportunities all the time.
No.
So when you have an opportunity, we were talking about earlier, you
Right.
better be ready for it. Like
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
when he had his opportunity, he was ready for it. I had this
You
opportunity.
can't big time him,
Yeah,
right?
no.
Because it's
No.
not good for your business.
You can't
to
be
a
like,
certain
hey,
extent
I got a
either,
show,
right?
but I'll come next week.
Yeah.
Like, fuck
Yeah.
no,
No,
you
no,
can't
no.
do
And
that.
that's why, and that was
That's
my
not
thing.
gonna happen.
Everyone was telling me, they're like, why don't you just tell him like you'll come next week? I mean, you might not have that opportunity next week. Someone else
You
might.
tell him I'm gonna come next week.
Yeah, and so that's why I got on that plane.
That's
and I
cool.
went. And it was tough, and I don't even like flying. And now
Okay.
I only fly usually, I only
Yeah.
fly like an hour usually, right?
Yeah.
Vegas, San Diego, and I'm good. And it was a 5-hour flight, and I had to do what I had to do because, like I said, those opportunities don't come up very often.
Absolutely.
So when they do, you better take them.
So how did they find you? Who found you? How did you pop up on?
I think it was just a client that I had in LA,
Okay.
and they were friends with someone that was in his circle, and they basically, were like, "Hey, check this guy out.
Yeah.
Look at his page," and and that's why I think it's important to look a certain way, right? If you're gonna be a fitness guy, right, you gotta kind of live the life too. You can't just be out of shape and like not take care of yourself, and then expect people to be like, "Okay, well, this guy's not in shape, but I guess I'm gonna listen to him," right?
Right.
I think it goes. You gotta be a product
That's the
of what you
biggest
sell.
thing when it comes to trainers. Like, you see guys that are training people, you're like, what are you talking about? Like, you prove it to me that you did it first. Like,
Yeah.
or
Over
at
and
least,
over
or at
again.
least at one point in your life.
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
Like a coach. Like, there's football players that were the greatest and looked and played amazing, and maybe they let themselves go now. But it's like, but I know that your body of work.
Yeah, I know
You've
what you
done
did.
it. You've
Yes,
done it. So like
absolutely.
those people, fine, okay, like all good. But I definitely think having that perception is reality when you pull up and you look the way you do. You're like, I'm sitting here right now. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna get your number after this. How do I get my fucking 6-pack back from when I was 12?
Yeah, and that's my thing is I just want to, people to look at me and go, man, like, that's motivating. I can do that, right? And if they don't look at me, it's like someone within my group of clients, right? And go, okay, well, I see that guy's body, and I think I look like that, and I think if he can get a 6-pack, then I can get a 6-pack.
Well, the before and afters are everything, right?
Right.
And it can be in any industry. I have a house, or I don't have a house. I have a house. I don't have one house. I have 10 houses. It's a before and after. But for the before, you're going through your page, like, and then they see you on stage. Like, it's like, okay, cool. Like, this guy's living and breathing what he's preaching.
Your business card speaks for itself.
Yeah, and that was always important to me is because I wanted people to look at me and go, well, like, he's telling me to do this much cardio, and he's telling me to eat this food, and it's like, I don't want to not be doing that stuff. I want them to see like, wow, he's doing more cardio than I'm doing, and he's working out even harder than I'm working out. So how can I tell him no when he's doing it himself, right? But if I'm sitting back and I'm being lazy eating Twinkies and then telling my clients go do a half-hour cardio, they're going to look at you and be like, why am I going to listen to this guy?
Right.
So I tell trainers all the time, especially when they start, I'm like, you got to build yourself up, and you are your brand. You are a walking billboard. So build yourself up physically, mentally, do all the things you need to do so that when you are able to get these clients, that they can look at you and go, okay, he can do it, then I can do it too, right? So I think that's a really big part of the whole
leading by example.
leading by example.
So now that you have him as a client, a guy that's that busy, and how did you approach, like, obviously you learn your client, like, what's his goal? Can we ask like his fitness goal?
His goal is just to obviously get in shape and look good, and I know he wants to compete against one of his friends, and basically he wants to get in good shape.
Okay.
And how do you do that, right?
Yeah.
With a guy that busy, well, you got to get him a nutritionist, right? You got to get him somebody who can work on his body, so when it breaks down, he's getting massages, and you got to get him a physical therapist. You got to get him a chef. He has to have all these things in place for him to be successful. A guy like me, I don't need a chef, right?
Yeah.
A guy like him, he does need a chef.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the time to cook, right?
Right.
So he has to build a team around himself, and I've been helping with that and building a gym for him out there in North Carolina.
Okay.
And making sure he has the right pieces of equipment, and basically he's set up to be successful, right? You give him everything you can. At the end of the day, like you said, you can't buy like the work that you're gonna have to put in. You can't buy it, no matter what. That's the one thing I've always loved about fitness is like you could go buy a nice car, you can go buy a nice house, but your body and how you look, you can't buy that.
You can't buy it.
So, and trust me, people will pay a lot of money to look a certain way. I know guys that are, man, it's crazy what some people have offered me. I have a friend that's offered me like $500,000. That's like, if you get me to look like this,
oh my gosh,
I'll pay you. And they have that type of money, right? But they don't have the work ethic, or they don't have the time, or they don't want to give up their Fridays and Saturdays and partying, and they don't have the discipline.
No magic wand.
There's no magic wand, and like there's no amount of money that's going to get you there, right? Because if it was, then this guy would already
He would
be
have
there.
it.
He
He's
would
got
have
all
it.
the money in the world, right? He's got all of it. He has anything he wants. He can probably pretty much buy, except for this one thing.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Is I'm thinking about it. That's the wildest thing, and he has to listen to his coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? He has to invest money in a gym. He has to go invest money in labor like a chef or whatever. He still has to do certain work.
Yeah, and
You can't pawn it
I
off.
probably shouldn't say this, but it was kind of funny that we're sitting there and we're like, I saw the gym that he had, and I'm like, okay, well, you don't have all the equipment that you need to be able to be successful. It's like, okay, well, we'll just buy a gym. And I'm like, no, we don't need to buy a gym. We just need to buy you some
buy
equipment.
24.
We just buy
like,
you
"You have
some
the
equipment.
space."
Yeah, you have the space. He has a gym there, right?
Yeah.
Like you have a gym.
Yeah.
We just need to bring the equipment in. It was just so funny because he said it nonchalant, right? The guy is like super humble, super nice.
Nice.
Like everything you see on YouTube, that's who he is, right? He's a great guy. And but it was just so funny because he was like, "Oh, we'll just buy a gym and we'll just take their equipment."
That's what I'm saying. It's like life is so easy for him,
Right.
to just go, oh yeah, we'll just go buy that real quick.
Yeah, and people will
Done.
give these guys. They could hit up anybody and say, "Hey, send us this," and they're not going to charge him.
Not even close.
They're going
The
to here you go,
exposure-
take it.
exposure on that is
Yeah,
invaluable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but he's a great guy. And then
Nice, man.
same thing with Andre, man. Like that guy's been the biggest, probably one of the biggest pieces to my success is just because like he helps me so much with my business and tells me what to do and helps me out. And he's just such a good dude. Like he's just a great guy. And you wouldn't think that. Like when I got into it, I was like, oh, man, I bet you he's a celebrity and he's he walks into everywhere he goes. He's like people are asking for pictures and things like that. So I just figured he's just going to be a certain type of way. And man, that guy is the most humble, down to earth, nice person I've ever met. Like I ask him all the time, like, do you care that all these people want to take pictures with you? He's like, I'm blessed to be able to take pictures with these guys. And so people ask me all the time, they're like, hey man, do you think it's cool if I go take a picture with him? I'm like, yeah, just go ask him. He's totally cool with it. He doesn't care at all. And so having people like that to look up to, and you're like, man, this guy, he's got a great family. He's super successful. He's got money. He has everything. But at the end of the day, he's still humble. He's still a good guy, right? And that's the thing is like a lot of these guys get money or they get that status and they change who they are. Mm-hmm. He's never been like that. He's always been down to earth and like, I kid you not, some guy walked up to him and he was like talking about boxing and he's like, man, if you want, just one day bring some pads in and I'll hold them for you. I'm like,
Can you imagine?
what? I'm like, this guy literally told this dude he was gonna hold pads for him. I'm like, this guy's one of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah.
And this kid.
He's like, no, I got you, bro.
Yeah, I got you. Like that's. I mean, if I had to tell you, that's who he is. That's the type of person
It's
he
a good
is.
story.
And so it's cool because I'm around that all the time and I get to see it and I'm like, all right, that's what I want to be. He's literally the person I want to be.
Yeah.
He's successful. He has money. He has
Yeah.
great family. He has everything. But more than anything else, he has that. He treats people really, really well.
Yeah. You're talking about you getting mentorship from Andre. You're talking about Mr. Beast, someone that's huge that still needs a coach to get to his fitness. Like, how important do you feel like, regardless of level of success, how important is having a coach and having mentorship?
Oh, I think, look at Tom Brady's got a coach. Yeah. Tiger Woods got a coach. People ask me, like, why do you have a coach? I'm like, no, everybody needs that person,
Absolutely.
right? That's going to help them out and, like, tell them what to do when you might think something's right or you might think, like, oh, I look great, but then that person has a different view at it, right? A different point of view, and they're like, no, you know what? You're actually holding a little water or, you can do this better, you can do that better. Everybody needs that coach.
How many mentors, or who's your mentor? How many do you have? If there's more than one.
Man, I have a lot of people in my inner circle, like my friends that I consider mentors,
Okay.
right? People that I actually hang out with.
Yeah.
That I'm like, man, that's, Naveen being one of them, Mike, my buddy Mike.
Yep.
These two guys are like guys that are doing it really, really big, and seeing how they're doing it, it's like, I want to be like that. I want to, you've heard it a million times. Yeah. People you hang out with, the people you're around, that's going to basically dictate what you look like,
yep.
right? And
100%.
how you are. So, yeah, I guess I have a lot of people in my inner circle that are like I look at as mentors.
And you obviously have your fitness coach.
Yes, and he's amazing. He's he's probably been one of the biggest influences and biggest pieces to the puzzle. Ariel,
yeah.
Nunez, right?
Yeah.
And he's helped me so much because without him, I don't think I would have any of this stuff, right?
I mean, he's probably one of the the biggest out here?
Yeah, I would say he's
huge,
the
right?
biggest coach. Yeah, he's probably the biggest coach or one of the biggest coaches in the world.
Okay.
For sure, hands down. The guy's got multiple Olympians. I mean, he's killing it. I mean, he's had a year this year. He has a guy, Aaron Banks, who I think is going to win the Olympia this year.
Wow.
So he's got like 15 guys in the Olympia, something crazy. But he's definitely the best coach or one of them out there for sure. So like when you get coached by a guy like that, you better listen and you better.
But also for your clients, if you're getting coached by him, right?
Yeah.
You know, it kind of echoes, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the best part. It's the pedigree that you buy into when they're, you know, if they want to be your good client, right?
Yeah, and that's why I say he's such a big part of it because I learned a lot of the stuff that I know from him.
Okay.
And he's been so good. He'll call me up and he'll help me out and he'll, you know, tell me certain things like, oh, I do this with water and I do this with sodium. And you know, I always play, we go back and forth. I'm like, hey, man, I have a client and this is going on. What do you think? And he'll give me, you know, that recipe or he'll tell me, hey, do this or do that. So, yeah, he's just been a great person, man. I'm lucky. Like I keep saying, I have so many guys around me and people around me that have helped me. It's not just me. It's like it takes a team.
Yeah.
And that's where I think I've been the most blessed is just having the right people around me, you know?
Yep.
What makes you feel like you can have the right people around you? Like a lot of people, I would say, would think that they don't want to go to certain people because maybe they feel like they're too big for them or they're not going to have time for them. Like what makes you feel like, what do you feel like is the reason why you've been able to be so blessed to have these people around you?
I just think being open-minded and not thinking you know everything, right? Like you can easily go, well, I'm going to do it my way, right? Like even with the gym, I could be like, I'm going to pick the flooring the way I want it, and I'm going to have the dumbbells the way I want it. But I'm always been the type of person like, no, like listen to people around you, like they have great information. You know, 5 heads is better than one. You know what I mean? So I've just been one of those people that I might not know everything, but guess what? I know someone that knows something. Perfect example. I have a bunch of fighters that I coach, right? And I have Andre to tell me, well, what do you eat? Yeah, like I'll ask Andre, hey, what do you eat like right before a fight? Well, I'm getting information from the best guy in the world or one of them, right? So it's easy for me to tell my fighters, hey, this is what you should be eating and this is how you should be cutting water because I'm getting it from the best source. And it goes with everything else, like same thing with the bodybuilding guys, right? If I have a bodybuilder, it's like, hey, you should eat this way and you should do this. Well, I have Ariel. Ariel tells, he's the best coach in the world.
Yeah.
So my sources and where I'm pulling information from are so high that it's like I can give people that information that they need. Yeah. So it's really important surrounding yourself with the right people.
Right. And you have to be a certain type of person, like humble and all these things to even be able to get in the same rooms as these people. So it's just, it goes to show, I guess, just who you are as a person to be able to even have those opportunities because not everyone does. Not everyone is able to be in the same room as Andre Ward to get those opportunities to be able to have him as a mentor or, you know, Ariel, your bodybuilding guy. So it definitely shows to who you are.
Yeah, but man, both of those guys, I'm telling you, they're just such good dudes. It's crazy. Like sometimes, that's why I just sit back. Sometimes I'm like, man, I'm so blessed because it's like, I feel like God handpicked these people and brought them into my life.
Right.
Yep.
Both of those guys are very good guys. And, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say religious, but they're believe in God.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really important to me too. And so it just kind of works out because we have the same belief system and we, you know, it's just, it works really well.
Yeah,
They're great
faith
guys.
is big, and if you can bond over faith, man, that's that's a big deal. No matter what your belief is, but I mean, as long as you have some faith, like some
spiritual
it
connection,
resonates.
right?
Yeah, it resonates for sure.
So where's your, what are you doing? What's your thoughts on bodybuilding? Where's that going for you?
So after this last show, you know, I talked to the judge and she basically was saying, hey, you need to work on this, this, and this. And I feel like they're not things that are going to be that hard for me to fix. Nice. You know, and so I'm going to keep competing because, you know, my ultimate goal is to go to the Olympia.
Okay.
So, you know, that's when once I get there, then I'm like, okay, I did everything I wanted to do in this sport and I can let that go and then kind of really concentrate on the gym. But I also think it helps me a lot opening the gym and competing and getting to that place so that people are like, oh yeah, my coach is an Olympian. You know, I'm already IFBB pro, but it'd be nice to have that last little notch. And so that's my thing. I started out, you know, when I started this thing out, I was like, it's my dream. It's been my goal from the beginning. And I feel like I want to prove to everybody that like, as long as you put that work in, you can get to wherever you want to get to, right? It's just, how hard are you willing to work?
Yeah.
And I'm honestly willing to do whatever it takes to get to that place.
Nice.
Especially with all the opportunities that you have too, because someone like you could easily be like, you know what, I did pretty well, and I have so many other opportunities with all these big people. I'm just gonna focus on that. But for you to be like, hey, I don't care. I made this goal. I'm gonna go for it. Even with all the stuff that I'm doing, I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for me, it's just like proving to people. You know, that's my biggest thing is like, I want to show people like this kid from Castro Valley who's literally was serving tables is now, you know, an Olympian, or he's training these celebrities. Like I want, so when someone sees me do it, they go, well, if he can do it, then I can do it too, right? It's like, this guy didn't make very much money. He wasn't very successful. He drove his mom's Volvo, and now he's doing really well for himself. So I just want to give people that
inspiration,
and be like, man, if he can do it. And a lot of these guys have followed me since high school, you know, and so they see where I was at, serving tables. I had people come in and, you know, oh, I just graduated from UCLA and I'm working here. And in my head, I'm like, man, I'm such a loser. I'm working at freaking Outback Steakhouse serving tables.
Yeah.
Outback
right?
was it really Outback?
It was
Outback.
Outback.
Is iconic, bro. A
I-
lot of greats
Onion?
come, a lot of greats come from Outback, bro.
Man, I was at Outback serving tables, you know, and then
Yeah.
like, you know, now I'm doing what I'm doing, but I want people to see like, hey, you can be a server at Outback and you can go wherever you want in life as long as you're willing to put the work in, you know?
Your situation now doesn't dictate your situation in the
close.
future.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, I think it's really, really important for me, for people to see that, hey, like this guy, when he sets out and he wants something, you know, as long as he's willing to work for it, you know, like I always say, God will move all the mountains in the world, but you got to be prepared to have that shovel, right?
Absolutely.
You got to be right there ready to work. You know, he's not going to move them for you by yourself. So you got to do it.
Nice.
So let me ask you this. So all the people that would probably listen to you, what's the biggest question you get as a coach right now? Like, is it like,
How do I get a six
How do
pack?
I get this? Like, what is it? What's the, not, it's not a dumb question, but what's
How
the biggest question
often
that you
can
get?
I eat Taco Bell?
Yeah.
It's how often can I drink? It's
It's alcohol, right?
It's alcohol for sure. 100%. It's like, how can I have these goals and, you know, get to these goals and still be able to drink? And I had one lady, she was like, look, I'll sign up with you, but I'm telling you right now, I'm drinking every night. I'm having 2 glasses of wine every night. So show me how I can get to my goals with me drinking 2 glasses of wine.
But can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
But you have to give up some
There's
other
other
stuff,
things.
right? So maybe that cup of carbs that you were going to get earlier in your meal plan, you're not going to have that.
Yeah.
You know, and she was fine with this. She's like, I don't care.
I was like,
She
I
just
have
needs
my
my
wine.
wine.
She's
I was like, I'm on wine.
Wine or rice? You know?
I'm having 4 glasses.
Yeah. So that's for sure. You know, and I get it. You know, there's got to be a quality of life too. It can't just be, and that's something I've learned like over the years is like, you can't just give someone a strict diet and think that they're just going to stick to it. That doesn't work that way. No one's going to, I mean, there's a few guys, maybe the guys that are competing, the guys that are really, really serious about it. But your average person, you know, you got to be able to give them some flexibility.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what I try to do with my meal plans. I don't say you need to eat chicken and rice, right? I give them options. I'm like, okay, you can have these foods for your protein, these foods for your carbs, these foods for your fat. As many options as I can. I try to give them cheat meals. I try to give them, you know, whatever Christmas, Thanksgiving, those days, like have them, enjoy.
do your thing.
Do your thing, enjoy it. And if you want to go out and drink on a Friday night, cool. But let's make sure that we're good Monday through Thursday, right? So it's just basically setting guidelines for people. And you can do really, really well if you stick to the plan and still drink.
Yeah.
But you
You
can't
could
drink.
do better if you don't drink.
Yeah, but also you can drink, but just don't go to Taco Bell after and, you know, have 10 tacos, right?
What's the alcohol that we're allowed to drink if
Oh, I would say straight alcohol, tequila, vodka, just okay. Here's the thing: is like
Hennessy.
anything straight is fine, right?
Okay.
But it's when you add the juice, right? It's adding the extra carbs.
What about a lime?
Lime's totally fine.
Okay, cool.
right?
Soda water, lime.
Soda water, lime.
So no
stuff like
tonic
that.
water.
No, tonic water's fine.
Tonic water
Anything
fine?
that
Okay.
doesn't basically have, you know,
Extra
calories or
calories.
extra
Okay.
calories. But if I'm
Okay.
drinking orange juice or pineapple juice or
Right, the
cranberry
sugars and
juice,
stuff
right?
in
The
Coke, all
sugars,
that
the
stuff,
cokes,
yep.
and you're having 7, 8 shots or drinks, that adds up, right?
Okay.
So that would be my
So just
tip.
shots and water.
Shots and water.
One other thing that I always talk about, I'm the most nuts up and down diet trier.
He's not a balanced guy.
I'm not a balanced
He's not a
guy. I'm
balanced
either
guy.
going 100. I'm like, look, like I did 40 days of only eating salads. Like I just did that, and I was like, all right, cool.
foliage.
Yeah, I did it, and then just a bunch of random stuff. Go keto, do intermittent fasting. I'm always just toying. And I always know, okay, when I was in the best shape of my life, I literally just like only had chicken, rice, and like broccoli. That's all I would eat.
Yeah.
And I was just like in top physical shape. But then I was listening to a podcast. Jordan Peterson was talking about this all meat, straight steak diet. What do you feel about that?
Like Liver King.
Literally, like
Liver King.
He only put salt I think that's it. That's the only thing he puts, and it's steak, and it's every single meal, and he drinks water all day, every day.
No. No. Okay, so here's the thing is you can look really, really good, right? But what are your insides?
I want to be healthy, dude.
But that's the thing is like, what is
I just
isn't
wanna
that
be
the
healthy.
ultimate goal? It's like, I know so many guys that look so good on the outside, but then it's like, they'll get their blood work back or they're, they have all these issues, right? It's like, no, the goal is to be healthy, right? So having that and not having vegetables, you need fiber. Carbs aren't bad. Like everyone's so scared of them. It's like, remember, it's always calories in, calories out.
Right. Yep.
So at the end of the day, why would you not have carbs?
Right.
Like if you can give me an actual scientific reason of why you wouldn't eat carbs, then I'd say, okay, don't have carbs. But how is it that you got all these guys that are the best guys in the world, that are bodybuilders, that are stepping on stage looking 3-4% body fat, and they're all eating white rice and carbs?
Right.
It's like, why are they able to sustain the muscle that they have?
So is white rice better than brown rice?
It is.
Okay.
Did you see this little Joe Rogan was talking about it? And he like brought something up about it, and he was basically saying white rice is better than brown. That was actually the biggest question I used to get.
Yeah.
Is
A lot of people think brown rice is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not. White rice is better. And
Why is white rice better?
well, there's a few reasons, but one of them, it keeps you fuller throughout the day. So like the point is trying to give people a diet that's going to keep them full and not hungry, right? White rice is a high glycemic carb. So basically when you eat it, the way I like to put it is like, it's like wood on fire. Your body's fireplace, right? Okay. And if brown rice is like paper. If I'm taking paper and I throw it on fire, it's going to burn real quick, right? Where white rice is like wood. You throw it on the fire, it's going to burn, but it's going to burn for a long time.
Got it.
So it's going to keep you fuller for a longer period of time. And so that's why I use it, because I want to keep my clients full. I don't want them to be hungry after one meal and then be like, oh man, it's the worst, right? So
Yeah, that all vegetable or all salad diet. I was starving at all moments.
and then I bet you the second you had any kind of carb,
Yep.
and then your weight goes up, and you start holding water. And so my whole thing is let's do a diet that's going to get you to lose weight, right? But keep the weight off even after you go have a cheat meal.
Fine.
And that's
I'm
the
sold.
biggest
I'm
thing,
sold.
right?
I'm sold. Sign me up. Sign me up for the
Yeah.
shit.
What do I
Well, when
say?
you have no carbs, right, and you're going keto, let's say, well, your body's not holding, like, think about carbs as like a sponge, right? And you have that, and you put it in water, right? You take a sponge and you dump it into water. What's going to happen with that water? It's going to get soaked up by all the carbs.
Yep.
So your body basically has all these sponges, and you're drinking water. You're holding all that water. As soon as I don't have those sponges in my body, the carbs, right? Then I'm not going to hold
You're
any
just
water.
holding water.
So now my body's not holding any water, and so I look better on the scale, and my weight's dropped, and I look better, right? But as soon as you put those carbs back in and you start drinking water, guess what? Your weight's going to go right back up. So the goal is to lose body fat, sustain the muscle that you have, and lose the body fat, and actually get into a calorie deficit to burn the body fat. That's the ultimate goal, is losing fat.
Yep.
It's not losing weight on the scale. So I always try to tell my clients,
Body
like,
fat percentage.
body fat percentage, right, is really key. Body, that's the number one thing.
body
But
fat
I try to tell my clients all the time, chase a look, not a scale, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to look good in a mirror. Who cares what the scale says, right?
Exactly.
The scale it's going to move up and down, and things are going to change. But how you look, that's what's the most important
So
thing.
do you recommend to your clients, like before you start, like, hey, go get blood work, let's see where you're at, and then manage
Absolutely. Certain clients, right?
Yeah,
Especially the ones that want to do like shows and bodybuilding. I 100%, every single person that wants to do a show, I need your blood work. I won't even work with guys.
Wow.
That I just won't. And because I have a lot to lose at the end of the day, right? And if I'm giving somebody bad information or somebody gets hurt along the line, it's going to look bad on me. And I can lose all of this really quickly. So it's super, super important for me to see how their body is inside, not just outside.
So before we end, client wants to reach out to you. They want to work with you. What's the expectation? What should they expect? What are you going to hold them accountable for? How does that process working with you? Is it like a 8-week, 10-week thing? Is it?
Yeah, so I have different plans, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 20 weeks. But I always try to tell people, like, you don't want to lose. Like, people are like, I want to lose 20 pounds in 8 weeks. And I'm like, well, that's not healthy, right?
Okay.
Like, we want to lose a certain amount of weight. And I always tell people half a pound to about a pound a week is
Good.
a good
Healthy
weight to lose, right? You start losing 3, 4, 5 pounds. Maybe the first week, because you're getting rid of water, it's okay to lose a bunch of weight. But after that, you want a steady race, right? Like you want to take it slow and lose the weight slowly. So I always say, if you're doing an 8-week plan, look to lose 8 pounds. If you're doing a 12-week, look to lose 12 pounds, right? And Yeah, some people have expectations that are like super crazy that I see, and I'm honest with them.
Okay.
Like someone will send me a picture, and I'm like, I always ask them in the questionnaire, what do you want to look like? Like, what's your ultimate goal of like, what's the look that you're chasing?
You.
But
They just sent a picture of Bobby to Bobby.
That's what I do.
But
Hey,
like,
I don't think you do.
it's cool because it's a lot of times they send my clients, which is awesome, right? They'll send like a certain client that I have, and they're like, I want to look like this. But then sometimes they'll send a picture of Arnold, and I'm like, man,
He's on me too, bro.
Yeah, like we got to be realistic, and that's the
Yeah.
thing is I have to try to like. You never want to be mean to people, right? And you never want to like make them feel discouraged or bad, but you have to be honest. At the end of the day, you have to tell them like, hey, look, I can't, no matter what, I'm a great coach, but
This ain't.
this ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be honest right off the bat and say, hey, look, you know what? This isn't a realistic goal. Okay. This is more realistic. And if you want to do this, then I can help you. Right. And that's why the money can't be important, because if I'm just, okay, yeah, just give me your money. And, you know, I'll make you look like Arnold, and you do that, you're going to lose a lot of clients. You're not going to be around for a long time. You're not going to be long for a long time. Close. But if I'm like, hey, this is what I want, and I'm not scared to lose that client, and trust me, I've lost a lot of people just because I'm like, this isn't realistic. It's not going to work.
It's literally the same thing with this, like listing a house. Your house, the market says, we don't make up the price. The seller doesn't make up the price. The market makes up the price of the homes, what they're selling and going for. So you sit down for a listing appointment. You're in a neighborhood, like the top house is worth $850,000, and that person's like, I want $1 million. Well, maybe I'm not the client for you because, or you're not the client for me because it's not going to sell for that, and I don't want to spin you around. But if you could understand the data that I have here, how you could sell it for this much, and that's actually what it's worth, then we're on the same page. Right. Okay, I can accomplish this for you.
It's crazy because real estate is a weird industry in that, and I heard it the other day. It's like, they're coming to you for advice, but they're constantly questioning your professionalism. Like, it happens in real estate all the time. Like, hey, this is the marketing plan we should do. This is the listing price that we should go. This is all the data. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, they're questioning it. And so I always tell people, we don't sell homes. We sell sellers and we sell buyers, because they get in their own way. And they're constantly questioning. So it's like if someone came to you and said, hey, Bobby, and I'm sure you probably experience it sometimes too.
All the time.
Hey, I want to look like this, but I kind of want to do it my way. Like, don't you think I can do this, and this still?
Like, all the time. It happens all the time. I mean, it's a huge thing. And someone will send me, well, can I do this diet? Or they'll like take my diet, and then they start
Can I do an all meat diet?
Can I do an all meat diet?
And I'm like, wait, why didn't you hire me? Like,
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna do what I had set out for you. And they have a whole different thing. They switch all the carbs, the fats. I'm like, okay, and then I mess with them sometimes. I'll be like, "Oh, Body by James, huh? We got this diet going on." Like, you kind of mess with them a little bit, but they got to understand, like, "Hey, look, you hired me for a reason, right?" And so, I definitely get that for sure. But it's got to go back to being honest and truthful and understanding. Hey, you might lose this client and you might lose money, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's more important that your reputation and like what you're doing, and trying to get them to the right place is more important.
I'm sure you want to work with a specific mindset too, right?
Oh, absolutely. And now I get to be picky with who I train and who I don't.
That's cool.
So I go through a questionnaire and I ask some questions, and I can immediately tell you, like, oh, I don't want to work with this person, because I can already see they're trying to cut corners. They're not going to be serious. I don't want your money. Like, I want you to get results, right? Because that person gets results, it's going to do better for my business.
That's the Planet Fitness model, right?
Yeah.
Come in here and knock it out, or you don't show up, or we'll give you some pizza, or whatever it is, right? Like, that's the Planet Fitness model, right?
Yeah.
To just hopefully just get memberships.
Yeah.
And the more memberships they get in volume, it's better for more people that don't show up, because they can get more people to go to the gym if they want to.
It doesn't matter,
right?
Yeah, and my business is all off of referrals. I don't post anything on social media that's like, hey, sign up with me. I've never done it from the very beginning. Every single client I've ever had is from somebody else saying, hey, you should go check him out, or hey, you should work with him. So if I'm giving them bad service, or I'm not doing them justice, right, my business isn't going to run the way it's running.
It's about creating advocates, right? You have a client, you create that, you turn them into an advocate. Number one, you got another client from that person. It's referral-based business.
So someone signs up with you. How many check-ins they get?
So I have them check in with me twice a week, right? And it's all about accountability. You know how many people have been with me for a year, and they know exactly what they're supposed to eat. They know what they're supposed to do. And they're like, I'm like, wait, well, you keep signing up, right? Like you were saying earlier, but they want to sign up because they want that accountability. They want to step on a scale. They want to take their pictures. They want to know when they're out on a Friday that they have a check-in on a Saturday and that they got to be good and, you know, make sure that they have a good check-in. Because if they go out on Friday and they start eating bad and then they know, okay, I got to check in the next day, they're not going to have a good check-in. So people need that accountability.
He can see that street glizzy that you ate.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, man.
That's my number one problem. Like, just with doing all the things that I'll do and, like, I hold myself accountable for this time. But at some point, I'm like, oh, there's no one to tell me that I have to check in with. And it's like,
and it's not always like I said, it's not just the diet and all the workouts and all that stuff. It's they want a friend, they want someone to talk to, and they want someone to keep them accountable, right? Yeah. And so as a coach, I can't just be the nicest guy in the world because that doesn't work.
Right.
If I'm just not, oh, it's okay you had a cheat. Oh, it's okay that you did this and you did that. I'm not doing them any.
Well, I think that's like when I watched that podcast when Mr. Beast was talking, he was telling the listeners about why he respects you so much, because it's like you are on him. You're like you having those conversations like, yo, I don't care if you're here flying X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You got to do this to get to here.
Yes, absolutely.
Were you already working with him when he was on the Nelk Boy podcast?
I think it was after, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was after.
Okay.
And then with
He
him,
was I was literally watching that podcast, and I was hearing them talk about it, and then I saw like maybe a week or two after you posted. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I was in the hiring process for it, right?
Yeah.
So it was like right after, maybe that once he decided, okay, we're gonna do this, and then all of a sudden, hey, I get the call, and it was like, all right, here we go.
That's nuts.
So
that's nuts.
it was wild.
So, anything you want to promote or talk about? Last words?
I mean, I think we've pretty much talked about everything. I got the gym opening.
Gym
pretty
opening,
soon.
the lab.
The
Body
lab.
by Bobby's the Instagram handle.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Any other? I got Results by Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of all linked together.
Okay.
Yeah, things are good. I appreciate you guys having me on for sure, you know. And like I said, when we started this whole thing out, it was like there's so much, we have so much in common as far as like where we start, laying the foundation, learning from somebody, right? Like there's a process to all of this stuff, right? I just don't want people to look and go, well, that guy sells 10 homes. I want to sell 10 homes too, right? Or those guys are successful. I want to get there. They got to understand that we've done a lot to get to where we're at. It just doesn't happen overnight. And, you know, set that foundation and do everything the right way. And brick by brick, you know, you'll get to
The wall.
the wall. Exactly.
Yeah.
You get there. So,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
yeah, man. I
Bobby, you're the
appreciate
man,
it.
bro.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
it. Yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. We out.
We out.
Out. Peace.